The impact of becoming a service dog specialist is, as you can see, this is just one post. And if you scroll through all of those things, you can see how many comments there are mentioning years of nonprofit waitlists. Many want to pay or do owner training with support. Some breeders will offer a dog out of a litter, or several dogs out of different litters over the years and donate them. But then people that get the dog donated to them now need to find a trainer, or they try and do it themselves on YouTube. And YouTube is a great resource. But when you have too many different inputs, you don't really have much consistency. And as dog trainers, we know dogs need consistency as well as still new and interesting things. And obviously, I'm generalizing here a little bit, but so over 20 programs are named in this example, and still not enough trainers because in this particular one, people commented and came up with 20 different programs. And in those 20 different programs, the original poster either didn't live close enough to the program, didn't qualify for the program, or et cetera, et cetera. So, they put something out asking for help, and a ton of people tried to help, and still there was nothing that was there to help them. And as disabled people, we face this a lot. Okay. And so I promise you, there are plenty of people to support your work, no matter where you live in the United States or anywhere in the world, pretty much. There's a clear gap for ethical service dog specialists in our world. So, Rachel, that I mentioned earlier, is one of those examples. She couldn't get a service dog. She comes from a military family, but her PTSD is not from the military. She's not a veteran. She had multiple panic attacks on a daily basis. She had issues with being in public at all. She also has multiple personality disorder known as DID now, dissociative identity disorder. So essentially, she has four different personalities living inside her head, and so of different ages, by the way. Two of them are children and two of them are adults. And so going out in public meant carrying an entire school book bag that had sensory things in it, that had a whole huge thing of different medications that she would take for different things. She had, activities to do in the book bag, so if she got overwhelmed, she could do the activity. But in her 40s, she was still living at home with mom and dad. She did work, but she would do a job for a couple years, and then she would need time in a medical facility for a few months and end up losing the job and then have to start over. And I actually met her through her sister. We did weight pull together, and her sister trained with me as a pet dog client. And so she saw me with Riley and heard me talking about some of the things, and her sister apparently talked to her about getting a dog. And so she does have a ton of allergies, even more so since I first met her. So it did have to be a hypoallergenic breed. And so she ended up with Darcy here. Okay. She really didn't have any realistic options except to owner train because she has multiple disabilities, and a lot of organizations, like I said, will only train for one. So we trained Darcy, obviously, with structure and scaffolding that I'm talking about, and she decided to train him with my guidance. We used clear plan, handler goals, task steps, and small, consistent wins. And these two pictures are actually one of our big wins, is that she really loved to say travel with her family or whatever, but the anxiety and the panic attacks would always become too much, and she would have to stay in the hotel, and she wouldn't really be able to go out and enjoy doing something, except for things like camping, where there aren't a whole lot of people and you can kind of be out in the middle of the woods. Um, and so this was a moment where we took a trip and we went up to a mountain town, not during high season, and got a cabin and everything. And I know this sounds kind of crazy, but it was something that as a team we kind of came up with because we both kind of wanted to go somewhere and do something, and she felt like she was finally ready. And so we took this trip, and this is when things opened up a little bit more and everything. And her and Darcy went and she got to explore the museum. She got to explore doing different things because she had Darcy with her. And that big backpack that you see on there, she didn't have to dive into that backpack for any of those activities. She didn't have to dive into it for her emergency medication. This was the first trip she got to go on where she got to enjoy and go and explore and live her life because of that dog. And so this is one of those moments that I talk about how impactful it is, how important it is. And this is Riley and Darcy, who also became best friends because, service dogs get break time too. So they got to go run and play in the field together because the place we rented, we did rent away kind of from town. So, like I said, she lived at home before and now she gets to go out again. She found work that has been stable for the last several years. She started competing in weight pull and in rally as well as in show, in AKC and Iron Dog, excuse me, UKC and Iron Dog. Um, and she started winning awards. She ended up going out and dating once she had Darcy. She's married now. They live in their own apartment. And she's training her next service dog with the same structure. A few new additions because her allergies have increased to almost everything under the sun. So she's training some things with me to keep herself accountable and remember some of the things she might have forgotten from, 6 years ago when Darcy was younger. And then she's also working with another trainer that specializes in scent work so that she can make sure the dog detects truly if she even goes into a restaurant where they have certain spices, she will immediately start having a allergic reaction. So the dog is being trained to be able to just like step inside the facility and smell and see if it's okay for her to walk inside the facility. Um, so this is what I mean by community mentorship and the impact that you can have to help people. And Rachel is my all-in-one example of that. I really admire her. She has many more disabilities than I do, and she's doing amazing. Um, I'm super proud of her, and I am uh, just, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm very proud of her. Um, so, like I said, she still trains with me years later. Clear plan, ongoing support. We long-term client, and truthfully, we've become friends over the years. Um, so that's the difference you can make as a service dog specialist. Um, but not everyone is willing to put in the effort to become a service dog specialist. It does take a lot of, training and time, anything you learn that's new. Only a few are willing to learn a new human-centered method. Most trainers stay where they feel comfortable. So the comfort zone trap that we talked about earlier, if you're in it, nothing grows in the comfort zone. Just staying with pet clients does feel safe, but your skills and impact stay limited there to that zone. Um, so outside is where growth begins, and growth starts when you step into specialty work, and that's where real professional progression begins. And even if you want to teach service dogs as well as pet dogs, the things you can learn about service dog work can improve your pet dog work. So new results need new actions. If you want different clients and deeper impact, you can keep using the same model. This is your moment to step up. So would you like to see the path to becoming a service dog specialist?